Are you ready, Neo, for what I'm about to tell you? Hey, good morning, guys. Okay. Well, guys, this is going to be a little different subject today. I mean, if we get a lot of people entering here, you're always welcome to ask questions. But people have been asking me certain questions that they kind of been wanting me to do a video about it. So, I'm doing my normal morning routine. So, just for everybody who always has questions about water and health and hydrogen and supplements and whatever else, we can always talk about that. First things first, let's see here. Let's start with the water. As always, I typically wait for a few people to join. They can ask questions. And there's always one person who just entered, by the way. Say hello. We always get somebody who enters much faster than everybody else. But yet I get people who tell me that they don't get notifications. So, as everybody knows, we are having the signs. Well, I say everybody, maybe not everybody. First, let's start with water. Now, you may think the water has nothing to do with what's coming. And somehow, today, if everybody's, it's probably going to be a different crowd today. Because I would say today we'll go into, you can call it conspiracy land or conspiracy stuff. Ironically, by the way, I'm putting RO water in the distiller. That's how you really clean it, because in my personal opinion, I say opinion, but there's a lot of data to support it. That they're putting stuff in our water. Now, you might want to start asking yourself, why? Why would they want to put stuff in our water? If you think it's an accident, which I used to think it was, because I'm not really a conspiracy theorist guy, but at some point, sometimes, what do they say? The truth ends up being stranger than fiction or whatnot. And so that's been kind of my observation. And check this out, guys. Look what I'm messing around with here. It's a gas, another gas, different gases. Hydrogen gas is not the only gas that I'm interested. I also like ozone gas, a little bit of CO2. Sometimes there's different gases that have different effects on the human body. And to me, the king of the gases is basically hydrogen and oxygen. Those two are the kings. But today we'll just have an open discussion. I'm just doing my normal morning routine, so just here to chat. The thing is, you have to understand, I think it's important to understand that there is a war. That's so weird to say that. But there is a war going on. And part of this war is for your mind. This is why they put. So again, today, no medical advice, obviously, no medical claims. Everything's just my opinion. Today, we're just, what do they say? We're just talking, what would I call it? We're just talking for the sake of entertainment. Yeah, let's go with that. And let's see here. The end is near. Quite the title. Says well. I think we'll get into this. Maya says hello. Sunshine. Hello. Hey everybody. Wow, it's live. You made it. Some people are always like, I want to make it to the live one. Hi. I coincidentally went into YouTube. So again, this is an open discussion, but I'm also going to give you guys a little bit of guidance, because I don't like to share too much of this stuff, but maybe I'll open up today. Have I been privy to certain information? Yes. Do I talk about it a lot? Typically, no. But I think I'm willing to share some of it with you guys today. The first one is, because I was saying there is a battle for your mind, they are trying to do everything they possibly can to affect your health. And by the way, your health affects the mind. So this is why, as crazy as it looks, I go to certain. I don't think they're extremes. I found easy ways to do it, but the water thing. Maybe some people think it's an extreme, but the problem is, guys, if you were to be able to talk to, let's just say, somebody with incredible wisdom, or maybe even ask, you could even say God Himself, because it's very fascinating. I don't know if you guys have heard, there's actually an ancient, kind of a knowledge and wisdom. It's called Shinto, but there's actually a secret Shinto. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. And the most important thing, like really, really foundational, is the purity of the air and the water. And ironically, if you guys noticed, and maybe you didn't, it's actually in scripture. In fact, Jesus talked about it. Even Jesus himself, the very popular name and guy, he mentioned it in one of the most important verses. But to be honest, like nobody noticed. And it has everything to do with your connection, ascension. This is why, and by the way, once you're connected to source, you can't be lied to. You'll know the truth. There will be no more, pulling the wool over people's eyes. And the problem is that if these evil can't have you, it's almost like one of those weird things. Like if we can't have you, nobody can. I mean, they're willing to destroy everything, and hence potentially the end is near. But the end of what? Right? I mean, we're talking currencies. Are we talking life on Earth itself? I mean, what exactly are we talking about? Because there's a lot going on right now, guys. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you that there's a ton going on, right? But let's start with cleaning your water first, which I always talk about because this is absolutely foundational. Water is actually, in my personal opinion, it's sacred. And the only way to clean it right, whoever created the universe, I mean, we could get lost in that conversation, and I don't go into dogma and religion and all that. You can just call it God if you want. Whoever the creator of all this, they put something in water, by the way. There's certain information in water. And excuse me, I'm gonna have to blow my nose if I can find a tissue here. They put the ability to be able to basically purify water in a very interesting and simple manner, because nature, it's designed in nature. It's almost like you need almost no filters. That's the distillation process. And by the way, for those who don't know, the distillation process functions like a frequency. It actually, the water is actually vibrating when you're running it through. Well, this is what I'm doing. I'm distilling it. Why? Again, to clean the stuff out of there. You know what? Let's see. Let's see how many people are listening. Okay, what pharmaceuticals, and there's plenty, but what pharmaceuticals are the highest in our water? Now, this reveals a lot. I've only had one person get this right, and I have repeated it, so hopefully you guys will know. And what pharmaceuticals are the highest levels in water? And this is going to be a clue as to what they're trying to do to you. It has to do with the end. It has to do with all this. It's all ties together, and the human body is the prize in a way, We are the slaves. We build everything. So let's see if anybody knows which ones. Somebody says, yeah, many of us tend to catch hydrogen man by accident, not on purpose for some reason. I don't totally know either. Okay, Maya says, water is information, yep. And I'll only have osmosis, so I use the science of Emoto and play Mozart. Yeah, that's actually probably a really good idea. The water does respond. We know that. There's science to support it now, even though I thought it was nonsense. There's a lot of things I thought were nonsense that are really turning out to be true. And I think it's time to start moving forward on that path, or you're going to be left behind. But I'm still waiting to see if anybody knows what pharmaceuticals. Now, if you don't know, I'll just tell you guys. That's fine. But let's see if anybody knows what pharmaceuticals. Birth control. There you go. Somebody got that one right. Now, think about what that does to the human body. So that's one of them, though. Good guess. Or you probably already knew. So hormones. And not just any hormone, a hormone that will make men less manly, right? Have you guys seen the research? By the way, this is really weird, but I'm gonna have to use keywords because otherwise YouTube might do something. By the way, I'm putting, for those who want to know what I'm making here, obviously I'm making something with every mineral, nutrient, fiber, antioxidant. I'm trying to make, I make an everything morning breakfast. This, and I'm going off of the data from Japan. So anyway, beyond that, let's put some turmeric in here. But yeah, so we have the women's contraception. Any other guesses? That is one. Let's just do the top three. Because, and when I say top three, it's because these specific three are found in high levels. And people can guess, why would they put the contraception in there? You know, now granted, we kind of know where it's coming from. And by the way, for people who are into the stem cells, which I am, we're gonna put some raw cacao in here. All organic, literally no other ingredient, just organic, raw cacao. So for the end, this is the part that I don't feel enough people talk about. That's okay. I don't think people maybe understand. You have to prepare the body. Think about it. If they're trying to attack the body, then you have to counter that. And you know what? It kind of sucks, right? Because we have to like get all this equipment to clean our water. And of course, the hydrogen is just like, the hydrogen is a secret, by the way, guys. That one I can't divulge yet. I'm going to, but I can't do it yet. All in due timing. There are, gosh, beings that are much wiser than us. And by the way, anybody can, you know, be in contact, as you might call it, but they don't want you to be, because then the truth will be revealed and their game will fall apart. But by the way, that's what's coming. You know, that's literally what Revelations means, like as far as like scriptural stuff. It means to reveal. It's going to be revealed. All right, let's put some flax seeds in here for some good fats. Anti-cancer stuff and anti-parasitic. By the way, that's another weird one. Parasites. Oh boy, don't even get me started on that, because there's, you know, I forgot. There was a story that people really wanted me to share. And this is actually what shifted everything for me, because I didn't believe in any of this stuff. You know, I was such a skeptic. But I had things that had happened to me since I was a child, and I kept trying to deny stuff. And then I did something. It was a very special, ancient cleanse. I've talked about it only a little bit before. And guys, I'll tell you, when that thing came out of me, it was like a light just turned on immediately. And that's how do you think I've been able to figure all this stuff out? Like a lot of, you know, it's funny. There's doctors that don't agree with my methods, but they've seen the results. And as this one doctor who the one that was in my blood work, she said, what you're telling me is impossible. She couldn't even open to the fact that maybe it was possible. And she said, but I can't deny that whatever you're doing is working, because look at your blood. It's unbelievable. You know, not one person. She said she never saw one person, which is pretty wild. I would think that there would have been at least one. But you guys want to know one of the secrets? I'm going to tell you one of the secrets. And you know, people are kind of they're going to disagree, and that's okay. But guess what? There's data now to support it. In fact, there's data showing that it's really, really important. Does anybody know the secret for one of the secrets of health? Oh, and by the way, let's keep going. Let's see, birth control, estrogen. Yep. And microplastics. You know, that's an interesting one, but microplastics is not a pharmaceutical, obviously. But there are massive amounts of microplastics, and it's exactly one of the reasons that I run it through that carbon distiller, because again, this is getting all the microplastics out too. This is, again, water is foundational, guys. Let me see. Someone says, for your protocols to work, do you have to use the newest hydrogen machine, or it doesn't matter? If you have, I mean, the better the hydrogen, the better. But when the gentleman who invented that device, when he made it in 2018, if you had a 2018 model, it would still be a really, really good model. If that's what was available, that would be my last choice, would be the 2018 model. But the new model, if you can get it, is superior. He definitely improved on his creation. And I finally got the new one. not that long ago. I think about a month ago. I have the new one in my room. And yes, it is definitely, I mean, because they're doing something very special with hydrogen. Nobody has invested the money, the effort, the time to create the hydrogen that this man has done. And it all came from love. And when things come from love and they're real, and you don't cut corners for, profit or to potentially, poison people or contaminate them even more or whatever, because I've discovered that in this whole world of supposed health. It's been kind of shocking to me. I don't think people are being honest for the most part. That's just my opinion. There's a lot of dishonesty in the world of health, both in the pharmaceutical field, Western medicine, but also in the alternative health field. And it's been something that once you crack it open in a different way, like we have, just so you guys know, as crazy as it's going to sound, you have a whole other set of eyes, ears that you're not even aware about. And once they're open, and if you told me that, I don't know, years ago, I would have thought you were cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But to be quite honest, once you experience it, yeah, you know it's real. And if you guys ever don't believe that, watch something called, this is another, it's a piece of it, but it's an important piece. If you guys ever look up something called the telepathy tapes, as a great of a skeptic as I am, that stuff's real, and that's part, by the way, of what's coming. This whole end is also going to be a beginning. Reminds me of that movie, The Matrix. Whatever, every beginning has an end, Neo. Have you guys ever seen that movie? If you haven't seen that movie, it is so deep that it took, a long time to understand every little, bit of it. So part of the preparing for the end, believe it or not, you got to prepare the body. Think about this. And I'm going to have to use secret wording because we're not allowed to talk about this yeah, isn't that suck? We don't have free speech anymore. Fantastic. But there was this sharp little object, I guess some people would call it a little needle or whatever, with a liquid in it that they would want to possibly, I don't want to say they would force it on people, but this thing, why would it be so important to do that to everybody, right? Think about that. Why would it be so important? So important, by the way, I knew people, this is crazy too, and I actually know people that this happened to. They were, for example, trying to get a college degree, and they were pretty much done. They had like 1 or 2 credits. And when they finally finished, they wouldn't give them their degree unless they had that little thing go into them. That's why. You wouldn't get your degree. What difference does it make? It's like saying, well, we're not going to let you get gasoline for your car if because you're a danger to others or something. I don't know. The whole thing's wacky. And by the way, these ingredients I'm putting in here, guys, and these are all amazing if you guys have questions about them. But I've made a lot of other videos about that. Okay, let's see here. Where are we at here? Nanobots. There we go. Getting some crazy stuff. Opioids in the water, snake venom. Oh, that one, believe it or not, this is going to shock you. Yes, it's in the water, but you're going to be shocked where it came from, because it actually came from the sky, and that's how it got in the water. But let's go back. Let's just finish the 3 pharmaceuticals, because I guess nobody guessed them. Yes, one was women's contraception. Somebody got that one. The other one is antibiotics. This is why I'm doing right here what I'm doing, by the way. Guys, did you know that almost 80% of your immune system, and then we'll talk about why. A lot of people don't even know why they're trying to make you sick. And why you obviously want to prevent it, because guess what? It has to do with the Antichrist. Yeah, it's going to be really wild. It's going to be a wild ride, I'll tell you that much. And if you're not ready, and by the way, most people won't be. My channel, Uprising of the 144,000, that's a small number. How many people we have on planet Earth? I don't know, almost 8 billion, right? It's going to be a small number. There's interesting things in scripture, and they describe a lot of this. And it's kind of wild that they knew that long ago. And that's because when you tap into the whole like Akashic records or if you tap into certain things, time doesn't exist, and you can see the grand picture. Plus, by the way, history repeats itself. So things, by the way, as crazy as this might sound to you, this is not the first time we're going to go through this. So what I mean by that, for example, is, how do I explain that? Well, Yeah, well, let's just say it's not the first time we're going to go through this. Beyond that, remember, Jesus said something really interesting in Scripture. He said, when the end is near and all this, he says it will be just like in the times of Noah. So he's like, it's just going to be just like that. Things are repeating themselves once again. So the last pharmaceutical, so we have antibiotics, we have women's contraception, and the last one, antidepressants. Does anybody know how many people on antidepressants these days? I believe the number, somebody can Google it. I believe the number in regards to how many women in America are on antidepressants is roughly 50%. Do you have any idea how much that is? You're telling me 1-2 people? Now, do you know what these antidepressants do to the mind? Do you guys know about the latest data? This is kind of new, and in my opinion, it's important because I'm not going to make a claim here. I'll just say it appears. I would say, and also in my opinion, because it's just my opinion, not just because I read stuff and see how these things work. It obviously affects the mind. That's one of the reasons they think that it's possible, and it appears we'll have more research, and it's going to take a while, but it appears that it could potentially cause Parkinson's, maybe even affect dementia and Alzheimer's, who knows, right? Which in my opinion, it could, which, is that a good thing? I just talked to a doctor. This is another one. I really want to interview this guy because he's a surgeon, and you should see the cases he's seeing. Now, his one has a lot to do with, I don't know if I can, well, I can say the word because I'm not going to make any claims, and that's Ozempic. Another one. He said the amount of people that he's had to do surgery on has gone up a lot, just ever since that thing was released. And so, again, another funny one is somebody was just making a comment about this yesterday that I saw about medicine, and they were looking at the ingredients because I think they were taking like, I don't remember, Tylenol or something. And, I'm not really into that stuff. But he was saying how it tasted sweet. And he looks at the ingredients of this particular pharmaceutical and what's in it? Sugar. Why would sugar be in it, right? And if you look at other countries, you've also noticed they're hell bent on doing it more to Americans than they are to anybody else. Why? Well, what is America supposed to really stand for? What is America all about? Freedom. And do you think maybe they don't want you to be free? Does it bug them so much? Because the thing about freedom, and if you really want to get into the spiritual aspect, because look, this is spiritual. Not to get into like fighting about whose God is right in religion, because I'm not going to go down that road. But this is spiritual in nature, and the greatest gift, maybe somebody will know, what's the greatest gift that God ever gave us? Free will, free choice. Why? Because freedom is the highest form of love. You can't control people and say that that's in the name of love. Gotta give them free will, free choice, and eventually, sometimes you make good decisions, sometimes you make bad ones, but the intention in your heart is actually, really important. Okay, so we have their super greens because that opens up gets the body to produce nitric oxide, and it helps level out the pH of the blood. And for people who disagree, and that's fine. In fact, I just had an interesting conversation the other day with a podcaster because they didn't necessarily agree. But there's one pattern that I noticed, because that's what I do. I look for patterns and then I study the data as much as I can. Guys, did you know that there's a correlation between the longest living people and the most intelligent country in the world? And if you can notice that correlation, wouldn't you think that you should possibly look at their methods, maybe learn a little bit from them, see what makes them so, like why they do the things they do and doesn't make sense? That's something I recently did. I did a video on it. I don't think a lot of people were that interested, but I thought it was quite fascinating because it helped me a lot figure out all this health stuff. Because one of the secrets to health is minerals. Minerals, believe it or not, and fiber. Because without fiber, you're not going to be able to actually absorb them the best way. That's a reason that in nature, quote unquote God's creation, you see that the food has naturally built within it fiber and minerals and a bunch of other stuff too. Okay, let's see here. And somebody says, what do you think of Prozac? Oh, in my opinion, terrible. All that's just another antidepressant. And not only is it another antidepressant, I don't believe, see, I put my quote unquote belief or faith mostly in the things of nature. And if you guys want to look at the data in regards to, because people do it for what? Because they're depressed. By the way, I got to make some chia seeds. So you guys are about to see how I make this stuff. The thing is, did you know that a 20 to 30 minute walk daily appears, because I'm not going to make any claims and you guys can Google this yourself, appears to work better than any antidepressant known to man. Did you guys know that? Then why in the world would you want to put that stuff in your body? And by the way, here's another tricky one. Maybe nobody thought about this either. Are you guys aware, this is wild, just Google it and you guys can see for yourself so you know that I'm not making claims. Are you aware that by taking pharmaceuticals, maybe not all of them, but I am going to say probably most of them, in my opinion, you'd have to Google the details, that they make you deficient in nutrients? Now, did you know that that's part of my whole protocol? And do you guys know why my protocol entails overcoming nutritional deficiencies? Because when you're deficient, guys, think about this. For people who, this is gonna be a terrible example, but let's talk like a Corvette, like a car that is supposed to be super powerful, you know, Corvette, Ferrari, whatever. If it's deficient in something, meaning let's say it's missing a spark plug or, you know, not running right or whatever, is that gonna make it, you know, as capable as it ordinarily would be? Well, no, it won't be. They don't want you capable, guys. They don't want you strong. They don't want you healthy, because when you're strong and you're healthy, you fight. When you're weak, you're subservient. You know, by the way, chia seeds, but I soak them in water. The water's the magic. But I mean, they have calcium, omegas, how fiber, iron, all sorts of good stuff, guys. And straight from nature, no added sugar, no added coloring, no added nothing. I don't need that in my food. I'm always confused about that. Have you noticed like coloring, like, oh, red number 40, like why would you want to use something that we've known or appears, you guys can Google it, appears to potentially cause cancer? And in other countries, they won't put it in their stuff. That's always weird too. Why America? America. Are we the dangerous ones? All right, let's see here. So we got all the pharmaceuticals. And by the way, do you know why those pharmaceuticals are really high in the water? Because that's what people are taking. So people take them because they're, maybe the doctors offered some money, right? That happens in a lot of, that's one thing I'm going to tell you behind the scenes. The one thing that other people won't tell you, because people get compromised. Ever since I started doing this channel, and I was just doing it to try to help everybody and show them how I overcame the medical issues that I had, I always made a commitment and a promise that I would just tell you guys what I'm doing, what I've discovered, all this stuff. Don't think I haven't been approached. I get approached almost every single day by different companies wanting to promote products. I've turned down a lot of money, and I turned down the money because, oh, I don't have enough of these. Okay, I guess we'll do what we'll have to do. I turn it down because I'm not going to promote something that, in my opinion, is not good for you. You know, that's the reason you don't see me promoting a million products. Now, if it was about money, geez, if it was about money, I'd probably have like a little studio with the microphone, and I'd probably be, I'm gonna put the crumbs in here just because I don't like to waste them. Almonds, or not almonds, walnuts. Because there's shenanigans everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. Like I said, not just normal medicine world, it's gone into the alternative health realm. And what I've learned is nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about the people that much. There's very few. There's few. I'll say that. I'm going to fill this up with water, but I want to grab more of those. And this one is good enough now. This goes in the fridge for tomorrow. In fact, you know what? I just got a really nice message yesterday from a person who was doing my protocol. It's actually a couple. And she was really sick. Oh, people are going to hate me for this. But you know what? I'm going to grab my pack here. Just like this thing. I like to put cold or heat on me. Different hot or cold packs. That's my own thing though. And she got on my protocol because she was, well, again, sadly, she was on the carnivore diet. I know everybody's gonna attack me for that one. I'm not trying to attack it. I'm just telling you her story. Point is, she wasn't doing so good. She said it helped her for, I think it was like a month or two. And then the results just started going away and then she started getting worse. And she just finally started a new protocol, the Hydrogen Man protocol, I guess you could call it. And she just messaged me yesterday. She's like, oh my God, I feel so much better. So she's really happy. That's what makes me happy. See, I think the secret to happiness, guys, and by the way, if you want to know the secret to happiness, right? Because guess what? I've been looking for that since I was a child. That was one of the biggest things that that I spent a lot of time trying to find. And one of the secrets is, guess what? And ironically, someone named Jesus used to talk about it. Just loving your neighbor, guys. When you're good to people, it feeds your soul, you know? And that's why I didn't want to sell out. And ooh, look at these. I picked these, by the way, right off a tree. All right, let's see where we're at. How long does it take to make an individual protocol? You know, it really depends. I worked with this one doctor recently, and that one only took, I don't know, an hour. And some people take 4 hours, and then they have a lot of follow-ups. So yeah, when I do those consults, I never put a time limit because, you know, when somebody really understands what I'm talking about, it's so much faster and they don't question everything. If they want to question everything, that's fine. I explain data and I explain why, you know, the reasons I do the things that I do or recommend. But yeah, it just depends. But that doctor that I recently, I mean, think about this. I mean, this is no offense to him either, but he contacted me because he wanted help. And he just didn't know how to improve his health more, and he was having some issues. I believe, I'm not going to name him, but I think his wife was also having issues. And super smart, really nice guy. To be honest, I think he might be one of the like best students, like quote unquote, that I've ever had. He even was saying that. He goes, I'm a student right now, and as I explained to him how I came up with the things that I came up with, he totally understood. It was such a pleasure, and he was explaining it in different ways, but it's the same concept. And it was really it was pleasant to have a conversation with somebody who actually understood, and that's been a rarity for me. Most of the time it's like fighting with people, you know, they disagree, and you know, and you know what, that's fine. I don't mind if people disagree, and if people want to follow their own path, no problem. It's called freedom. Doesn't bother me one bit. But I also know sometimes, guys, there's just people who know things about certain subjects better than others. And I always keep an open mind to learn more. Always. And I tried, the thing is, before I ever even started this channel, I tried a ton of stuff. So I guess back to the point of there's stuff in the water. And by the way, there are things in the water. I've been suspecting this for a long time because I have I don't talk about this a lot either, but I'm just going to tell you guys. I have really, really strong intuitions. Like I know things. And it's weird for to say that, and I kind of hate saying it, but whatever. So I've known that there's something in the water that they're not telling us about. I know there's things in the water that they don't even test for. So you wouldn't know. Well, guess what? Just recently, I think this was a few months back, there was something discovered in the water. Very sinister. By the way, also parasites, bacteria. One of the wildest ones that actually shocked me, studying everything I could about water, was radioactive contaminants. I was so naive thinking, I didn't think about radioactive contaminants being in the water. And guess what? Do you think distillation removes it? Pretty much the majority, it's like over 99%. So I was really surprised by that. Doesn't that surprise you guys? The distillation with the carbon or the RO combination can virtually remove all that. That's a big one. Now, when you prepare for the end, guess what? Your body's gonna get attacked. I don't know. Okay, so here's some stuff that Nobody knows yet. I'm gonna try to explain. I tried to explain to a doctor, a different doctor the other day, and they're just not getting it. And I'm kind of shocked because the data's like already there. Just have to look at it and figure it out. You have to figure out how to get the body. So every time your body is bombarded, I'm just too tempted by this pair. um, every time your body's bombarded with something, radiation, some type of contaminant, it actually depletes your body of nutrients. I was saying it earlier about pharmaceuticals. Just Google it. Google something like, can Tylenol deplete you of nutrients? And you're most likely going to find that, yeah, because almost anything that does harm to you in some way, because we know there's side effects with that stuff, your body's going to have to protect itself by utilizing something. One example, here's a good example. This was discovered by literally one of the top doctors in the world that researches vitamin D. He actually runs a hospital. He was using vitamin D in surgeries in a way that nobody ever thought of, and his results were unbelievable. So he's been educating other hospitals about it and other doctors. What he noticed was when you go through something traumatic, and by the way, there's many forms of trauma, both emotional, physical, even taken in my opinion, pharmaceuticals can cause potentially some trauma to the body. And guess what happens when you have trauma? He noticed that the body will get depleted of vitamin D. Why? Like a kid would say, why? Why? Because, in my opinion, it's utilizing the vitamin D to protect you. It's kind of like putting something in front of you and like your arm and something hits it, and yeah, you might injure your arm, but you saved your brain or your head, And so this is why, to me, it's so important that you overcome all nutritional deficiencies. Now, sadly, and they have done studies on this, taking a multivitamin pill just doesn't quite do it. And that's because the nutrients or the vitamins, and they depleted our soils too, so it's very hard to get it from food. Hence the reason I put that powder in there, because the way that these nutrients work, guys, this is the big secret, and it's not much of a secret because it's been in nature forever, is that you have to combine the nutrients typically with fiber. That's why, haven't you noticed that almost every single ingredient I'm putting in here has got fiber in it? Right now I'm putting ginger. I have the chia seeds. I have the pears. I have the blueberries. I have the greens. Everything has fiber. Fiber is a huge secret. And you know what's interesting? Actually, you guys will really find this one interesting because it's our government that did this one. There was a study done a long time ago by our government, and they were trying to find out roughly, I love this story because I think it's so important. They were trying to find out, well, how much fiber the human body requires so that they could give you, and by the way, again, this was a very long time ago. I believe it was, gosh, not quite 100 years ago. I think it was like either 1920s or 1940s. I don't remember. I'd have to go look up the study again. I just remember the results because basically they wanted to tell us, you know how they always say, okay, this is the recommended daily value, blah, 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 blah. And when they found out how much the human body requires as far as fiber is concerned, it was off the charts. It was so much that they were like, this is ridiculous. No human's going to consume this amount of fiber, especially when you wake up in the morning and have, bacon and eggs with your piece of toast or whatever. Like, it's just not going to happen. And so they didn't want to tell the public. I'd rather know the truth. I'd rather my medical professional say, look, this is how much fiber the body needs. Good luck achieving it. And now some people might say, oh, why don't we just take a supplement for fiber? Guess what? The Japanese discovered it's not the same as the fiber from every single, look at the beauty of this. These things are so beautiful. This is a beet. Okay, let's see where we're at here. I guess no questions. And by the way, you guys, this is anybody can join in, ask questions, you can make a comment, it's all good. So the fiber that the human body requires is actually a lot. And so when I looked at data I have found out, I went down the fiber trail because I found some interesting, really new data from Japan. And, it's funny, people probably thinking, gosh, this guy's always talking about Japan. I wasn't looking for data from Japan. I just look for data. It's just that the Japanese have done so much research on health, stuff that other people just haven't. And just like the water thing, nobody thought about researching water, and the Japanese realized you can talk to it. Everybody thought hydrogen gas was inert. The Japanese found out it's not, that it's amazing for the human body. So, and all the amazing things, I mean, literally the very thing that saved my life. So the Japanese are on another level. And guess what? They are the smartest country in the world, like it or not. I'm not just saying that because I'm not being biased. By the way, you guys probably don't know this. I'm really into statistics and data. I mean, that's what I look at because that's what's going to lead you down the right way typically, right? You got to see the truth of it without people being biased and telling you just their opinions or simplifying it to a silly little argument. Like for example, people talk about oxalates. People are going to get on me too about this one. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, oxalates, they're so terrible. Yeah, if they're so terrible, why do your body produce them? If they're so terrible, why are they good against parasites? Yeah, you might want to start. Life is about balance. You don't want, I mean, honestly, water. You could talk about water and how great it is, and then you could take tap water and it's terrible. Or forget tap water. If you drink 3 gallons of water or something in 1 hour, guess what? You're going to die. So life is all about balance. You got to find the tricks of the trade of health in the end. So where were we at here? I think I lost my train of thought. Does anybody remember? Let's see. I'll see if anybody comments. So good slow juicers are bad. Thank you for a good question, Maya. I'm not saying the slow juicers are bad because here's another tip for you guys. And people ask me this all the time because they want to get hydrogen on the cheap. And the thing that I've learned is at this time, it's not possible. You're not going to be able to do hydrogen on the cheap because it requires such a level of technology as far as metals, membranes, just certain technology. But did you guys know that there's a special type of almost hydrogen water in nature? And it's in fruits and vegetables. So maybe I should do a video on that one too. So I don't know if you guys are aware of that. So there's actually magic within the water. And so if you were to do a juice, like, okay, here's an idea. I wanted to do this, but it would just be so expensive, so time consuming, and I just wasn't gonna do it. But I just had this wonderful idea the other day. What if you juiced a ton of produce? And you guys seen how I pour the hydrogen water in this thing? And instead of putting the water in here, I would put the juice and I would still make the smoothie. That thing would be full of so many minerals and amazing nutrients, and it would be kind of remarkable. So I'm not saying the slow juicing is bad. However, you are stripping away crucial, important parts of the food. You want the fiber. I'm not saying juicing is bad, but guess what? And I've done juicing. You know what? It's time consuming. It's super expensive. You got to buy a massive amount of produce. And it's just too time consuming. That's my problem. I need to be able to do this. If I don't do a video like this, I've timed myself. I do it really fast. I could probably do it in 15 minutes. But typically, if I'm just moving at a nice pace, it's 18 to 20 minutes. And this right here lasts me for breakfast and lunch. And the reason I do it that way, if you guys want to know the reasons, people don't chew enough and they don't chew correctly. And chewing your food is crucially important. And so when you blend it, it's pre-chewed. Now, I understand though that the chewing action or mechanism actually causes the body to be able to start its digestive process, which is why I put, and you guys are going to see this, something highly, highly nutritious and delicious, where I put the hemp hearts on the top so you can chew while you're drinking the smoothie that is perfectly chewed up for you. And what that does, the reason that I do that, see, I have reasons for everything that I do. I just wanted to make them super easy and simple for everybody because that's what I wanted when I wanted to improve my health. Just give me an easy answer. It's super easy for the body to digest. So digestion requires a massive amount of energy, especially depending on what you're eating. And so the goal is to get all your nutrients. Here's another secret. I'm giving you guys all the big secrets. The big secret is you want food to be easy for your body to digest, but you want to make sure that you're getting all the nutrients. That's the key, to make it easy on the body and get all those nutrients so your body has enough energy to actually self-repair. You got to be able to repair. That's the reason that these diets where you're eating food that there's no fiber, like, again, I'm not trying to attack the carnivore diet, but it's just that the carnivore diet makes no sense other than you get no sugar. But guess what? You eat enough meat, your body will start producing sugar on its own, by the way, which is one of the reasons that eating carnivore doesn't make cancer go away, sadly. I wish it did. I wish it worked. And if it did work, I would tell you it worked, but it doesn't. I've seen people, I've known people who had cancer. They tried to eat nothing but meat and it didn't work. You know, their cancer still finds a way. By the way, what it does, so cancer has a metabolism and it reroutes its metabolism and it starts functioning again and finds a way to produce, well, crazy as it sounds, sugar. Isn't that wild? The whole thing is wild. But the secret to cancer, there's a couple different secrets. One of them is cold temperatures. Have you guys seen the latest data on how cold temperature affects cancer? It makes me think of excuse me, of that guy Wim Hof, who the Iceman. He's the Iceman. Maybe someday the Iceman will meet the Hydrogen Man. I'd love to meet that guy. He's wacky and I like it. You know, I'm pretty wacky too. I just tend to hold back because, you know, everybody judges you for everything, but I'm pretty open-minded and wacky out there. Okay. Let's see here. Somebody says, you're forgetting your carrots. Oh, I just got those. Someone says, just juicing messes with your blood sugar. You need fiber for sure. Yeah, fiber does help regulate blood glucose. That's a good point too. What about cacao powder? I already put that in there. And in my opinion, yep, it's good. Just get a good source. Maya says, you can't eliminate cancer only through eating the right food. It's a holistic thing. Well, I mean, just so you guys know, in fact, I should release it. I've had it for, gosh, probably over a month already. I have imaging from a person who had a brain tumor and before and after, and it's gone. And the imaging was done at the Mayo Clinic. They used the hydrogen from the company Holy Hydrogen, which is basically the machine that I use. It's a Japanese machine, the Lourdes Hydrofix Premium. And I've seen other hydrogens. Oh, it's been sad. I've seen some terrible things. In fact, one guy, his poor wife died, and I told him, I said, man, you should speak up about this. But he was like, nah, I just want to let it go and not think about it anymore. It was so sad because I saw what the wrong hydrogen can do. And I've seen it many times, actually. And that always saddens me, but I'm not going to go on that subject too much today. In fact, what do you guys want to talk about? Somebody make a comment or question because we're coming to the end of the video here. Other than what I can tell you is you got to prepare the body for what's coming. And there's going to be another intervention as far as there's going to be a lot of things where you basically need your body to be really, really healthy and strong and at its best if you're going to get through some of what's coming. And it helps you with discernment, having a clear mind, cleaner body. That was the one thing I just never probably would have thought in a million years. And it wasn't until this huge, I had all these parasites come out of me, but the very first one, man, I tell you guys, it was immediate. It actually reminded me of the movie The Matrix when, remember they took that parasite out of Neo's stomach, if you've ever seen that movie. And when it came out of me, it was like something unplugged from my brain. And all of a sudden I could think a little more clearly. My mind was more at peace. And that's the reason that I do all this crazy stuff also, believe it or not, because yeah, part of it was my physical health, obviously mental health. And I didn't realize the importance. I used to be a guy who just would eat Twinkies and, you know, eat dollar burgers, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I didn't think it mattered, to be honest. And once I experienced what it's like to have a clear head, what's funny about it is that I mostly look around and feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone because I see other people who don't see what I see. And medical professionals, health gurus, naturopaths, like the world of health is not the only thing that I see, but I see all that and I've been trying to share it to help people, but this road's going to be coming to an end too, by the way. I'm not going to be doing this much longer. And I'm going to be I got to shift into my own work, you know, and that requires a lot of effort and time. Yeah, and so I won't be doing this forever. I did what I could do to help. I mean, I've been doing this for like, what, almost like, I've been doing it for 10 years. And if anything, I get more fighting and resistance and people attacking me and all this stuff. And it's like, geez, I'm doing this to help you guys. So that's why I'm just like, forget it. And by the way, so here we go. So this is actually amazing because instead of putting juice, which would have been cool too, I'm putting actual hydrogen water in here. And this may seem silly, and that's fine too. You don't have to do it. I just have so much hydrogen water. Why not? But what I found in some research, and it's very preliminary, but it appears to be legit, which shocked me. In fact, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to add extra minerals today. And this has also been researched. When you add minerals to something like a smoothie, they literally did, it's almost like they copied my video. They put minerals in the smoothie. The minerals work synergistically with the fiber, and the results that people were getting were just dramatic. None of the scientists thought that it would do what it was doing, which was people's bones were rebuilding. It's because it allows you the time to absorb minerals and nutrients. They work with synergistically with the fiber. It's funny that the empty things seem to be some of the most powerful things. And I say empty things. Look at water. Water looks empty. There's nothing there. Air. Look at the air. And yet they're the two most important things for life. If you don't breathe, you die. If you don't have water, you die. And fiber, it's no different, guys. Fiber is also just kind of empty, but it can carry things just like water is a carrier. The air can be a carrier. These carriers, you know, kind of like a woman too. A woman can carry a baby and carry life, which is also pretty remarkable. Okay, we'll see if you guys have any final questions. Actually, I'm going to show you the end of this. And there's cacao powder for that person who asked. I have a few powders, and they're not expensive, except for my Purium one. That one's my super powder is the most expensive. So the hydrogen will soak into the food. Wow, it's not blending today. Interesting. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna grab. You know, I'm gonna show you a trick. I'm gonna show you a trick when it doesn't blend. It's for those of you who are trying to do the same thing out there, which is what this woman who messaged me was like, oh my God, you have some of the best bowel movements you've ever had because you're getting enough fiber. But sometimes when your gut is all screwed up, it takes a while for it to rebuild. Okay, I'm gonna show you a tip. If it doesn't blend, this is what I do. I was waiting for the water level to come down. I'm sure there's some air pockets. So I take a towel, and I like it to be pretty fat, and then just try to do that. Some of the food settle in there because I jam-pack this thing. And what's funny about this is that this happens sometimes to me, but it never happens when I'm on camera. And I always kind of want you guys to see it because I always say, will it blend? And everybody's like, of course it'll blend. It blends every time, but it doesn't blend every time. All right, let's see here. Wow, it is not blending today, guys. What do you think? So what do you do if it won't blend? You're just going to sit here. You can't eat all this. Definitely not going to eat all this. All right, what's going to happen today? I could get that big stick, but I don't normally do that. You know what? We might have to. All right, where's the big stick? Let's see if I even have it, because I have not. Oh, like that. I do have it. It's actually kind of dusty. I have not used it, and I can't remember how long. Well, obviously this is what it's for. And I like that they got the hole in the top. All right, let's see here. Let's try this again. There we go. All right, now I think we got it. But now I'm going to add more hydrogen water because that opened up some pockets. All right, let's see. Okay, somebody said, are these Japanese hydrogen water machines available in Germany? You know, they're not. Germany, you know, that's another weird one. There's certain countries, they don't want you to get this Japanese stuff. I don't know what it is about it. You'd probably have to contact like some company or something. Maybe ask them for it. But yeah, let's see here. Okay. Now let's see if they'll blend. Oh yeah, there he goes. I just remembered I'm going to add 2 magic ingredients. Actually, I'm going to do 4 magic ingredients, but 2 of them are really, one of them is really special. So you guys are about to see something really interesting. Okay, we're going to start with this. So I have a very special thing that I make once in a while. It's called koji. Guys, again, from Japan. And the funny thing about this stuff from Japan is it's actually ancient knowledge. And I read a lot of, I did in the past, would read a lot of ancient scriptures and books to try to learn about ancient wisdom in regards to health. And man, the Japanese have so many things. The Chinese too, but honestly, the Japanese are the ones that, I mean, there's things like Ayurveda too. There's wisdom kind of everywhere, but the Japanese have some crazy stuff about how they, I started noticing a pattern about how they make everything. And everything's alive. In ancient scripture, it says you're supposed to eat things that are alive because there's more life in them and it brings more life to you. This is koji. This thing is so rich in enzymes. This stuff, oh my gosh. Talk about like cleaning everything out and breaking everything down. Amazing bowel movements too. And which is really important, by the way. Bowel movements, enough water, it's all really important. So I'm gonna put this in here. Some of it, not a ton. And actually, it serves as a dessert. So the reason I like to make it is because after dinner, I'll have it for dessert because it just helps break down everything you just ate. And yes, it is magical, magical, magical stuff. If you ever want to read about it or look it up or see my videos on how to make it, it's K-O-J-I, koji. And man, it's amazing. I'll tell you, the things that the Japanese have done with rice, I mean, they make so many things out of just rice. Koji is made from rice. Sake is made from rice. Miso, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Okay, now we're going to put, guess what? More hydrogen water. Why? Because it looks like it's a little thick. And I like my smoothie. I have like a perfect consistency that I like it. Look at that. We ended up using it all. Perfect. And that's just to enhance, well, as far as the data is concerned, hopefully more data will come out. I have a feeling that more will come out. But it appears to enhance the antioxidative properties, which, by the way, is hugely important, of the food. So it makes it more powerful. You should see the farming they're doing with this in Japan. They know how to treat their, so I'll tell you, those guys, for people who don't know, the Japanese are master farmers. And then we're going to add 3 more ingredients, and then it's just going to be breakfast. So let's go. All right, that's it, guys. Easy as that. So now, the reason I'm putting them in these jars, because this is for later. There's a guy I worked with who's a trucker, and he wanted to get his health back. He was having a lot of issues, and he was like, how am I going to take this stuff with me? Well, you make these jars and you put them in a little cooler and you just take them with you. And this is just to get all your nutrients and fiber. And then beyond that, you can always eat something else later too. And by the way, it helps digest all that stuff. I know people who just do this and then they live their normal lives and it's helped them so much. If I was a normal person, which I'm not, I'm not normal. If I was normal, I'd probably be, I mean, the average, I won't begin to say what normal is in America anymore. Okay, so now I'm putting some vitamin D and I put it with my food. But it's not just vitamin D, it's a special one. It's D3 with K2 in its ionic form, or here it is, ionic form. You have to understand what that means. This is not your normal vitamin D. And you know, kudos to that company because they were doing it before the data ever came out, years before. And now it's proven that it's actually the right and best way to do it. Boron, you guys know what this stuff is for? If you want to really do some awesome things for your testosterone, and its ionic form again, and estrogen, and for muscles and all this stuff, it's like really good. I have a feeling it's anti-aging too, but I'd have to look that up. Okay, so everything goes into food. Why? Because the body responds to food. It just knows food. Why? Because your ancestors have been eating food for nutrients for thousands of years and is genetically pre-programmed into you. And by the way, there's data to prove that. I did a whole study on vitamins in a pill form versus getting the nutrients from food. Why do you think I try to do everything with food? Hemp hearts. If you guys want to see the nutrients on this sucker, it's unbelievable. And I don't do any supplements, as you're probably going to notice, other than vitamin D, because you'll see zero. You're not going to get enough vitamin D from your food. It's just the way that it is. But this has some of the best protein known to man. Super well balanced omegas 3s and 6s. Look at this, tons of protein, omegas 3s and 6s, and all sorts of different minerals, nutrients, organic, by the way, minerals, because guess what? There is such a thing as inorganic. That's why I don't like supplements like magnesium and zinc and all this stuff. It's like, I'm not a huge fan. I'd rather get it from my food. Okay, let's drink this up and see how it tastes. Oh, do I still have some more? Yeah. Oh, yay, come out good today. Okay, I'll answer your last questions if you have them, and then I'm gonna let you go. Okay, let's see here. For the very few that stuck around, there's almost nobody in here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Carol says, I know at some point you'll be moving on to explore other passions, but I'm sure you'll always be making your smoothies every day. And that's true. Oh, I hope you'll continue to do these chats. Okay, I'll try. I can't guarantee anything because when you get in this zone, there's a zone I don't expect anybody to understand or even believe me, and it doesn't matter to me because I already know. In order to see for the things that I'm looking for, you're made of water. You need stillness in order to see the reflection into the heavens. And sometimes that requires to be, when I say a peace, it's like a vow of silence. You don't talk. You go into deeper meditations. It's good today. Now, koji always makes it taste really good. Okay. Eva says, use a stick. Yeah, I did. Sunshine says, can you list all the ingredients? You know what I would suggest? I have a massive amount of videos I made about the smoothies. I would just suggest watching them, and I talk about every ingredient, and you can write them down, or because I have a lot of different ones. I always change it up, but foundationally, I like having my pure and powder, my greens, and then beyond that, you know, mostly vegetables. So for people who disagree with the whole vegetable thing, which is really funny, the Japanese, like 75% of their diet, 70% of diet, like the majority of their diet is vegetables. And there's clear evidence. We already have the data. So vegetables do appear to be really good for you. And they live longer than anybody of any industrialized nation in the world. So, and they're under so much stress and they work so hard, you know, so that tells you something. Okay, and it is about ratios, by the way, your health. Now Maya says, is boron more ferment, isn't it? No, boron is a mineral, so it's good for hormones. So when you, this is a beautiful thing about your body. If you give it what it needs, it'll naturally do what it does. So you don't have to worry about it. It just does it naturally. So if it's good for hormones, if the woman needs, their healthy hormones do their thing, men's, because the body will do it automatically. Kind of like putting gas in a car that's got a V8 or a four-cylinder or a hybrid car. Either way, the gas is going to do what it's going to do. Doesn't matter if it's a car that guy's car or girl's car. Probably a silly example. Okay, Giselle says, what do you see coming? So as I said, it's an attack on the body. We're going to have a ton of things happen all at once. Your body has to be prepared because they're going to offer you something. They're going to offer you something that almost everybody's going to want to say yes to. And you really are going to want to say no to. It's going to look really good. It's going to look really good for about 3-4 years. And that's going to make everybody be like wanting to jump on the bandwagon. And this thing that they're going to offer you is going to be a piece of technology. It's most likely going to be some type of chip or something. And it's going to affect your health, supposedly in a positive way. And it's going to give you money. It's going to be a digital money that they're going to give you for free. So who doesn't want free money and free good health? Everybody's going to want it. Technology, woohoo. In my opinion, I'm not going to do it. So, and you just have to wait it out. That's part of what's coming. We can get more detail if you want. Martine says, what is the company, I see, of the ionic vitamin D? It's a concentrates company. Here, I can grab it. Gosh, this is so good. It tastes really good today. The other reason for all that fiber is because it pulls all this stuff out of you, like microplastics, different garbage. This is why bowel movements and peeing is so important. Move it out of you, move it out of you. Okay. It's from a company called, it says Trace, but it's really Concentrace, I guess Trace. If you want to get this, I have a video. If you put vitamin D3 and boron, the video should pop up. And in the comment section, I put the link there. If you want to use the link. Either way, I think it takes you to Amazon. Made in USA, not Chinese, guys. I use almost no Chinese stuff as far as food is concerned. Or hydrogen. I think that's the biggest scam in my opinion. Almost all the hydrogen's made in China. Seems a little weird to me. But the best ones that I found, and I found all the best ones, there's 4 of them, and they're all Japanese. So it's kind of interesting that China hasn't made one good hydrogen machine yet. Find that highly suspicious. Okay. Nacho Libre. It's a funny name. It always makes me think of Nacho Libre. Okay. Will you ever be sharing the method of cleansing where you release the bug? I know you said it is pretty intricate. Oh, it is. It's very intricate, but I believe I need something like that. You won't be able to do it on your own. You can't. You need help in order to do it. And it would take, it's expensive, it's time consuming. Will I ever release it? Maybe. I mean, it's an idea. I could probably do that. You're gonna need to buy a bunch of stuff. I need to go and figure out where to buy. I have all this stuff, but I bought it years ago. That's how much it impressed me. I went out and learned how to do it, got all the equipment. Because it felt like gosh, how do you describe it? Like light just bursting out of your head, and you were like, oh my God, you felt awake, and you're like, I didn't realize I was sleeping all this time. It was such a beautiful feeling, and everything seemed so easy and obvious. Like, why are these people arguing about this? Like, for example, I hate bringing this one up. I brought it up a few times today, but like diet. Everybody's arguing about diet, what the best diet is. And for me, it's like, this is so obvious. It's so easy, but then you get into the depths of it. It's so next level. Like the Japanese, they eat with the seasons and local foods, and the way they do it is, and the colors of the foods and the ratios, it's masterful. There's a reason they live as long as they do. It's not an accident. They did studies where these poor Japanese people who left their country, their life expectancies would drop dramatically, not a little bit, dramatically. In fact, what the study basically was showing is that the Japanese were even more sensitive than the average person to these pollutants. They weren't handling them well. I'm always so impressed when people can take in all this garbage and still live 100 years. That's a rarity, but it's always impressive. Mm. Of course, we go by averages. Maya says digital ID. Maya, whoever Maya is, you're smart. Because that's exactly the digital ID is to usher in what's coming. So it's part of it. Do I have one? No. Did I get this little needle in me? No. Do I understand what's coming and why I decide not to do these things? Yes. There's a reason. Like I said, once you begin to see clearly, it actually seems so obvious that it's almost laughable. Um, I hate to say that because it's so sad that they fall for it. Kind of like a dog. There was these dogs. This is kind of crazy. This happened the other day. There was like a group of dogs going around that appeared to be violent, almost like they were hunting, right? I've had certain dogs try to attack me, and you know what I immediately say? I'm always like, hey, good boy, you want a treat? And then they're like, it confuses them because they're all in attack mode. They're like, treat? Food? And so it's funny. I use that on them. And they're just so, I don't want to say easy to manipulate. I mean, you can manipulate a dog. Hopefully you have good intentions. But that's what they're doing to humans. They're definitely manipulating humans. And they're doing the brainwashing all day long, 24/7, you know, the news, you know, CNN, all this stuff, just constant bombardment. And yeah, fill your brain up with garbage. Okay, let's see. The Bible tells us what's coming. Yeah, like I said, Revelation's the big reveal. The problem is, it's not that the Bible tells us or doesn't tell us, it's the misunderstanding or inability to be able to interpret it. There is a method which someday I think a lot of you will probably know, the few who are here. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. Just saw that. There are certain words in the Bible, not all of them, that when you begin to open up your other eyes, you know, that sounds weird. You have a whole other set of eyes. When you open them, there's things in the Bible that begin to pop out. So somehow, and this is going to piss a lot of people off, there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that was thrown in there to confuse things and manipulate and try to confuse people. And that's actually one of their greatest powers, is always trying to confuse everybody. And that way you never really know what the truth is. And now they don't want you to have free speech and yada, yada, yada. You know, the whole deal. But if you can decipher it, which most people, unfortunately, I have not seen that most people know how to decipher the scriptures. I'll even say I don't know how to decipher them. But when I have, by the way, you have guardian angels and all that stuff. Sounds really wacky. One day I'll share that story. That actually I did share it, part of it. The stone people one, about the spirit guides, or what, also angelic or beings of light, that they're the ones who try to bring this information to you. And when they work through you, you can see more than you can ordinarily see, and they help you decipher scripture. In fact, it just shows it to you. You're like, oh, you see it. It feels like an epiphany, and so quick and kind of unbelievable, because you get a massive amount of information in like 2 seconds, and it explains so much. It's really pretty awesome. But okay, I think we're running to the end here. Any last questions? I'm gonna go grab more of this, and I'll give you guys a few moments if you have any last things you want to talk about. Otherwise, I'll say goodbye, because I got a lot of stuff to do today. And I'll tell you, this thing tastes so good. The koji really takes, and I know it takes it to the next level, because I've done it before. And as crazy as it sounds, guys, I'm telling you, it's all about bowel movements, having a good, you know, being able to pee really good, overcoming all these nutritional deficiencies, getting these parasites out of you. In fact, you'll be surprised to find out that most of those foods that I put in that smoothie are anti-parasitic. Really? Yeah. So you want to eat, in my opinion, anti-parasitic diet on the regular. Okay. Emma says, read Daniel chapter 8. Okay. You guys want to hear what, I don't know if it's going to be very interesting to anybody, but let's see. Daniel chapter 8. His vision of a ram and a goat. Okay. In the 3rd year of the reign of King, Daniel sees a ram with 2 horns, then a he-goat, that's funny, he-goat, with a notable horn, who breaks the ram's horn. The ram represents, oh, and then somebody has their interpretation. All right, well, maybe I'll check that out. I tend to just wait for it to come to me. It'll come to me whenever, because the book is so big. I don't even read the Bible, believe it or not, unless things just come to me, and then I go and look at what has been trying to be shown to me, because the Bible is full of much stuff. Okay, guys. Notice everything I'm doing is also liquid or powder. I don't like pills really. They use others, but people love pills. Okay. What recorded video should I watch for the koji recipe? Well, you just have to go look for it. I mean, here, I'll look for it for you, I guess, but you can just go to my channel and look for it, but it's all there. Well, let me see if I can find it, because I don't remember all my videos. I got a lot of them. Let's see. Koji. Okay. Video 418. How to make koji. Oh wait, 243 also. So those are 2 videos. I did it twice in different ways. 243 and 418. There you go. In fact, I'm gonna make a little adjustment there. Okay. Love koji. You guys are gonna love that. I'm not kidding. It's so good. Okay, guys, how many? Let's see. I don't even know if anybody watched that video. Make sure I don't have it on private. It's public. Do I put keywords? Maybe not. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's there. It's there, guys. Okay. Any last questions? Otherwise, I'm going to say goodbye. Maya says, thank you. Hey, thank you. You had some good questions today. So I'll give you guys, I'll give you a few more seconds if you guys want. Has it anything to do with med beds? No. It's actually going to be a technology. No. It's going to be more similar to Neuralink. Esha says, I'm just joining. I will have to go back. Thank you, Greg. All right, guys. Till next time.